grandmother cooked. She didn't measure out a quarter of a pound of meat for each person. She cooked for an army. And that way when people ate, they ate and they ate and they ate. That's sort of why I tend to overeat. I can't limit my eating because I was not raised to limit the amount of food I eat. For better or for worse, I've gotten to this age, okay? So get back to me when you're my age and tell me I'm wrong. So nevertheless, I throw the party, and I call it a Jaguar XKE party because I wanted people to see the car. Is it a show-off thing? Not really, because it's not a rare car in that sense. I'm not trying to show I'm rich. It's like, why? Because every guy I know over the age of a certain age wanted an XKE when they were like 18 or 20 and couldn't afford it. Everybody wanted that car in 1965 through 1972. And Enzo Ferrari called the XKE the most beautiful car ever designed. You know what? I got to tell you, he's right. When you sit behind the wheel and you drive slowly on a back road and you look down the hood, what you're doing is it's like you're sitting in a Spitfire airplane. And this is an interesting story. There's not a digital chip in this car, so I'm safe from the NSA controlling it and driving me off a cliff. Whereas my new cars all have chips in them, and I'm afraid they can speed it up, slow it down, hit the brake, or whatever. In this car, there's absolutely no way to control it from a distance, short of driving it off a road with a cement truck. Because it's all analog. It's old analog parts like points and plugs and batteries. You know what I'm saying? And, of course, that great Lucas electrical wiring. Who would not want a car with British wiring from 1970 in it? I mean, who wouldn't want such an experience? So when I was young, I was fascinated with the Jaguar. Because this is an interesting side story. When I was young and poor, when I was 1 and 20, when I was young and poor, I was crazy about cars. I was car crazy, like all America boys. And one of the cars I always dreamed of having, I read Road and Track like people read the Bible in Missouri. I could tell you the 0 to 60 times the quarter mile times the axle ratios. I could tell you the carburation, the aspiration, the inspiration, the acceleration of any car in America when I couldn't drive. And I got my first car, which was a used, of course, 1955 two-door salesman's model Oldsmobile in green. And I got to tell you something. When my father brought that car home for me on Utopia Parkway and sat out there in the rain, I, to this day, have never had a thrill as I had that night going out of my attached brick house when my dad said, I got you this car, Michael. And I went down in that car, and I sat in that car with the rain forming on. It was like a light rain. I don't know what time of year it was. Born in March, so it must have been March, April, spring rain in New York. And I saw the beads of water forming on the windshield. Sitting with my father in a car, we said nothing. I sat in that car, two-door salesman's Oldsmobile, 1955 car. It must have been 1958, 59, 60 by that time. I guess 60. That car was still the most beautiful car in the world to me, but I dreamed of others. And one of the cars I always dreamed of was a Jaguar. I always loved the XK150, the 140. And as time went on, I had a 150, which is a piece of junk. As I told you last week, got locked in first gear on, we went to a party in Manhattan. It was like 2 a.m. We come out of the party, ripped out of our minds. I didn't know where I was to begin with. Now you try to put the car to start it, and it's locked in first gear, and you can't move it, and it's a tow-away zone at 6 o'clock in the morning. And you're with your other doofus friends who also don't know what to do with the car. So we had to schlep back to Queens in someone else's car and get a tow truck and tow that piece of junk out of there. So I said, I'll never buy another Jaguar. Well, a few years later, I bought another Jaguar. I bought an XK140 drop-head coupe, automatic, no less. And when the kids were young, I loved that car. And this is an interesting story from my point of view. If you're interested, fine. If not, go listen to someone. Go listen to Wallbang. I don't really care. I'm just telling you a story. Here's the thing. This is storytelling time in the Savage Nation. It's summer. Lighten up. Lighten up, man. We got a dictatorship. The NSA is spying on you. They're flooding the country with illegal aliens. The borders are being overrun. The language is being bastardized. The culture is being stepped upon. Congress is filled with a bunch of no-goodniks. But other than that, things are basically the same they've always been for most of us. And so, therefore, there's an old phrase, living well is the best revenge. And what that means to me is turn within in a certain way. You know what I mean? Do what you like to do. What are you going to do? Change the world? I've tried. 19 years of trying. So give me the merit badge. Give me the Eagle Scout merit badge for trying. And I'll keep trying. But, at a certain point, you have to try to enjoy yourself as well. Eat well, drink well, drive well, whatever. And try to hold on to your health and take care of your family and let the world go to hell. That's what I got.